After journeying to Japan 3 times to visit Kyoto, Nara, Osaka, and Tokyo, I've built up a lot of sort of essential travel tips that I think might help you if you're journeying there for the first time. These might be helpful even if you've already been there before. So, are you ready? Ikimashou, let's go. Alright, first up is the pre-trip planning. One of the biggest questions is whether or not to get the JR Pass. This essentially lets you ride the Shinkansen or the bullet train all over the country. It's really good if you're city hopping, but if you're just staying at 1 or 2 cities like Tokyo or Kyoto, it might be better to just get the individual tickets instead. Also, I would highly recommend to download Google Maps. It's super accurate and it'll tell you when trains arrive, when they're leaving, what platform to be on, and they'll even color code certain trains, always with like a specific color, so you kind of get a feeling for where you're going every time you go there. And a bonus tip would be to learn a few simple Japanese phrases before you go. A couple are konnichiwa, arigato, or arigato gozaimasu, and lastly, sumimasen, which is probably my favorite phrase. I found myself using it all the time. Knowing just a few phrases can be a really good way to meet and talk with Japanese people. Now, when it comes to hotels, it can be really fun to mix it up. You can stay at a traditional business-like hotel, or you can stay at something called a ryokan as well, that have the traditional tatami floor mats, and occasionally have things like onsens, which are private baths. Now, one of my favorite personal travel tips is to try and save the best place you're staying for last. That's, of course, if you're staying at multiple places, definitely just save the best for last. This reminds me of a Japanese phrase, saigo no saiko, which essentially just means save the best for last. For traveling in the city, I'd highly recommend getting an IC card, a Suica card, or a Passmo. You can add these to Apple Pay or your Google Wallet, and they're useful for things like trains, buses, and you can even use them at places like vending machines and convenience stores. Also, just a heads up, trains are quiet in Japan. So that means when on the trains, no phone calls. And also be sure to always line up at the platform markers when taking a train or subway. When in doubt, just watch and follow what the locals do. Okay, let's talk about food. Japan is basically foodie heaven. You have to try omakase, which is a sushi meal where the chef picks everything for you. Typically, omakase chefs dedicate their life to their craft. It's certainly an experience you won't forget. If you're a meat lover, then you need to go find some Wagyu. Meat like Kobe, Matsuzaka, and Omi are all really good choices. Another must-do is if you ride the Shinkansen, you have to grab a bento box before you board. I one time had a Sukiyaki bento box, which was insane, and I also grabbed a Kirby one because why not? Also, just some etiquette rules to follow. You might be asked to take off your shoes when entering a restaurant, home, or a temple. Additionally, you'll want to carry a lot of cash on you as well. Japan is a pretty cash-centered society, and not everywhere, especially in the small and more rural places, have credit card machines. And to that point as well, I would recommend grabbing a coin purse. I grabbed a really cute one while I was there. It was a lot of fun carrying it around. It's something I don't do here in the US very often. And you'll find yourself racking up a ton of 100 yen and 500 yen coins. And lastly, no tipping in Japan. It is often actually considered even rude if you try to tip. Also, shopping in Japan can very much be a great experience in of itself. I would recommend you can bring your passport around to get a lot of tax-free things. You know, you don't have to pay tax if you got your passport on you. And if you're big into things like thrifting, you can go to places like Shinmo Kitazawa in Tokyo or Amerikomura in Osaka. Also, never underestimate a Japanese convenience store, also known as a konbini. Places like 7-Eleven, Family Mart, and Lawson have amazing drinks, incredible food, and things you'll never know you needed. Now, like I said, I've only been 3 times, which for some people is a lot. For some people, it's not much at all. You know, there are a few things I've done research on which I haven't been to, but I would love to go to. I was originally going to call these sort of like hidden gems in this part of the video, but it's really turned into just places I want to visit. So here's the list of places. If anyone knows anything about them, feel free to let me know. These are some places I really want to visit next. Also, if you're big into Japanese cars or JDM cars, you have to go to places like the Daikoku PA, which just means parking area, the Tatsumi PA, or Roppongi. A lot of people are sort of initially drawn to Japan because of anime, or because of food, or maybe even martial arts. But the first time I went there was actually just for cars. So I would really recommend checking it out. And I'm calling this last section Ronnie's Rex. These are the places I'd recommend visiting no matter what. You have to go. The first one I would say is Shibuya Crossing. It's the coolest, most iconic crosswalk in the world. The next one is Yoyogi Park, which is just so peaceful, so beautiful. And lastly is Arashiyama, which is a riverside town in Kyoto with a bamboo forest. And that just about does it. If you have any places in Japan that you have questions about, or you'd like to, share some info about, please feel free to drop it down in the comments below. I'd love to hear any recommendations you guys have as well. Thanks so much. Take care. See you later. Matane.